my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be doing a tutorial on how to do a wedding makeup look using all drugstore products. The only drugstore product I didn't use was my eyelash glue. I used a House of Lashes glue, but you can use a Duo Glow if you like to. For some reason, I always have an allergic reaction to that lash glue. It's really weird, but I don't know why. It just happens. Anyways, so you get this really soft eye. I use quite a few Milani products, but it's all drugstore. Well, I just want to say thank you guys for supporting me, and thank you so much for taking time to watch my channel. And I hope you guys enjoy this wedding makeup look.
Hey guys, and welcome back. So we're starting off with the NYX Proof It eyeshadow primer, and then I'm just setting that eyeshadow primer with a matte shade from the e.l.f. matte palette. This is just going to set the eyeshadow primer as well as help the other eyeshadows to blend later on. Next I'll be taking the Milani 02 palette, and I'm just going to be taking that light gray shade and put this into my crease using a Sigma E40 brush. So this will be our transition shade, so it helps the other eyeshadows blend. It's also going to help give us a nice smooth gradient effect, and I'm just putting that on with a windshield wiper motion, and I'm also using circular motions afterwards just to blend out the eyeshadow so we get a soft diffused effect with no harsh lines. You're gonna basically blend until you give yourself carpal tunnel. But it all comes together in the end. Next, I'm taking the fourth shade in the palette on a MAC 217, so it's a smaller fluffy brush. A Sigma E25 is very similar. And I'm just applying that to the tip of my brush and then tapping off the excess and applying this in my crease, but a bit lower than the transition shade. And I'm just again going in windshield wiper motions, but then doing circular motions to softly blend it into that transition shade. Now if you ever find it gets a little choppy or a little harsh, just take that fluffier brush with a little bit of your lighter transition shade and blend out those edges. And remember to take your time, don't rush, and slowly build up the color to the pigmentation that you want it. It's easier to go in with less and then build it up to what you want it than have too much product and trying to blend that away. Trust me, I've done it before and it can be a pain in the arse sometimes, so just take your time. It's your wedding day. You're supposed to take your time, be late, doesn't matter. It's your day, be a diva, right? Right. Next I'll be taking that black shade, but I'm just putting a little bit on the very tip of my brush, you'll see right there, so just a little bit, and I'm putting this on the outer corner of my eye and tad bit into the crease, and I'm just using little circular motions to blend that in so it's on the softer side and more diffused, because I didn't want it to be black, though you definitely can get that with that eyeshadow. I just want it to be a bit deeper in pigment than the other grade that we put beforehand, and then just blending it out. Next I'm taking that eyeshadow primer again, and the nice part about this eyeshadow primer too, it's also waterproof, and I'm just applying that with a small dense brush, and then I'm taking that pink shade in the palette that's above the black and spraying that with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus spray and applying that to my lids. Spraying your eyeshadow will make it more foiled and give more of a wet look, and since we put that eyeshadow primer on beforehand, it gives something for the eyeshadow to adhere to, so it'll last all day and it won't transfer to your upper lids or anything like that. Next I'm taking the third shade in the palette, which is like a shimmery taupe shade, and I'm putting that between the pink shade and the darker shade on our lid, just so we have a nice soft transition, but also give a bit more depth and interest to the eye look. And then just doing the exact same thing on the other side. And now I'm just taking a clean fluffy brush and I'm just blending out the edges to make sure it's all soft and diffused. And now I'm just taking the Marcelle Black Kohl liner and I'm just applying that next to my lashes. This doesn't have to be really pretty. It can be messy. It's all good because we're going to be smudging it later on with this gray shade and black shade mixed together with a flat definer brush. This way, so we get definition at the lashes, but it's more soft and diffused. Because the point of this eye is to be very soft, but still a tad bit smoky, so we're enhancing your natural eye contours and to bring out your eye color so you just look gorgeous. If you can see here, one eye looks a little bit thicker at the lash line compared to the other one. Also, I'm curious, if you live in the States or anywhere else in the world, do you guys have Marcelle in Drugstore, or is it just strictly Canadian? I'm very curious. Now I'm just taking these makeup wipes from Costco, not technically Drugstore, but a great deal at that. And I'm just taking it so it follows up along my bottom lash line to shape up my eyeshadow so it's turning up instead of down. Next, I'm taking the Nivea Men Aftershave Balm as my primer. You probably have heard Nikki tutorials using this as a primer, and it works really well. The reason it does is it has glycerin in it. Glycerin does two things. One, it retains moisture from the air and can hold on to that moisture, and two, it becomes sticky, which gives the foundation something to adhere to last all day. So make sure you take a little bit on your hand, you don't need much, and blend it and massage it in until it becomes really sticky and tacky. Just let you know this can take a second, so just hold on. And don't worry, you don't smell like a man after. You really don't. So next I'm just taking the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in Porcelain, and I'm applying this all over my skin with a flat foundation brush, and I'm starting where I have the most redness and then blending outwards, just because I don't need a whole lot of foundation over my cheeks, but I do need it right close to my nose. So, and then I'm just taking the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge and blending it out so there's no streaks from the foundation brush. It's also it will pick up excess product that's on my face so we don't get cake face, because we want our base to look soft, diffused, glowy, and just, you know, like I was born with the skin and it's looking good. Yes. It's like all those Instagram posts, I woke up like this, and you're just like, yeah, I wake up and I have like 5 more pimples on my face, so. But that's okay, we're using foundation to conquer that. And the reason why I'm using this foundation is because it does not flash back in photography, because it does not contain titanium dioxide. Always look out for that as well. Next, I'm just taking the Hard Candy Glamoflauge concealer, and I'm also taking the pencil that comes with it, and I'm just applying this over my acne spots. I find the pencil concealer works best on really small blemishes that are inactive, so they're not as red or angry, and I find it just cancel out some of the color, but then I still go in afterwards with the cream product. So you can see it's very thick. I say it's a good dupe for the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, but Bye Bye Under Eye does have a better shade range than Hard Candy does. But anyways, I'm just putting that with a small like lip brush, just because so I can put the product directly on the acne spot, and then I'm just blending the edges around the pimple with my sponge. You'll see sooner in a clip that big red pimple that was on my forehead has disappeared, which is an amazing feeling. Next, I'm just taking that same concealer underneath my eyes, but on a flat concealer brush, and I'm just applying this not in a full highlight triangle, but so it comes past my eye bags and just a little bit more redness I had on my cheeks, it just covers that up. And I'm just using the sponge to blend that in because it'll pick up again excess product, make sure it doesn't look cakey, and then I just use my finger when I'm closer to the inner corner so I don't mess up my eyeshadow look. And again, blend, blend, blend. Makeup is all about blending. So now I'm just taking the Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder in Warm Light, and I'm just using this small fluffy brush, and I'm applying this underneath my eyes, over my nose, and in my T-zone and where I concealed my acne. This brush will pack on a bit more powder because that's where I need it the most, is in my T-zone. And then I'm taking a fluffier brush over my cheeks just so we set the foundation so it's not tacky anymore, and the other powders will blend easy. But I don't need to pack on powder where I don't need a lot of coverage, and I am very dry. If you're oily, I recommend that you go with maybe a loose powder and do some baking wherever you get more oily throughout the day. Just make sure it's not a straight up white powder so you don't get a white cast for flash photography. Next, I'm taking the Physicians Formula bronzer, and this is the original light version, but there is a darker version if you need it depending on your skin tone. And I'm just putting this where the sun would naturally hit me. So that would be the top of your foreheads, the top of your cheekbones. I bring down a little bit into my contour space, but I will be going into contouring afterwards, so I'm just using this to warm up my skin, especially because I'm mad and pasty. Next, I'm taking the NYX Contour Kit, and I'm using that cool tone shade on a Luxie brush, so it's smaller but still fluffy, and I'm just putting this in the hollows of my cheeks, so starting at the top of my ear to going towards the corner of my mouth, but I'm stopping where like the corner of my eye, if you can imagine a line from the corner of your eye down to your cheek. And then I'm also going to afterwards apply this to my forehead, just because my forehead is a fairly big forehead, and I just want to give a bit more shape to it. And then whatever product I have left on my brush, I'm just using that on the sides of my nose to even out the tones in my face, but I'm not actually contouring my nose. I have a pretty small nose, so if I contour my nose, it gets quite lost. And then I'm also taking a bit more product and putting that along my jawline, and then get that double chin there. Just so in pictures it gives you that nice definition of a jaw, but make sure you go in with another brush like I am and blend out the edges so there's not a harsh line of demarcation, but rather a nice beautiful shadow. Next, I'm taking that light vanilla shade in the Milani palette, and I'm using that as a highlighter.
That's so pretty!
And we give a little highlighter dance because I was very happy. And I have to say, like, that shade is a really good dupe for the Urban Decay Sin highlighter. Like, that palette is less than half the price of that highlighter. Next, I'm taking the Wet n Wild, I can't remember what exactly it's called. It's like Petals something. I'll make sure I link it down below. And I'm just putting this over my cheeks because it's too dark for me to use as a highlighter, but it'll give a nice sheen to my cheeks, so it gives you like a nice glow to the skin. And I'm using the dual fiber brush too, just so it gets a sheer wash. And then I'm taking the Milani blush in Luminouso and putting that on as well. But you only have to put a sheer layer on because you have the mix of the highlighter plus the blush. So we want to be a blushing bride, but not the clown bride. Next, on a fluffy pencil brush, I'm taking that transition shade that we had earlier and applying that to the lower lash line. Again, we're using it as a transition shade, but it just brings a little bit of smokiness. And then I'm taking that fourth shade in the palette, that deeper brown shade, and applying that real close to my lashes so we get a bit more definition. And then keep blending again until you get carpal tunnel. And then I'm taking that vanilla shade and I'm applying that to my brow bone and to the inner corner, so all the highlights on our face just melt together and it just looks like beautiful highlighted skin. I find if your brow bone highlights matches your cheek highlight, it just looks a bit more cohesive. Next, I'm just brushing my brows and then taking this Annabelle brow pencil in Auburn because I'm trying to warm up my brows since my hair is red and my brows are so cool. And I'm just filling in my brows. And this is how you shape your brows. So the first part, corner of the nose, the corner of the brow is the beginning, corner of your nose over your pupil is your arch, and the corner of your nose, the corner of your eye is the end tail. So that's how you know how far to take your brows and then where your arch should be. Mine are A-shaped, so I just follow them. And I'm just filling in the gaps, brushing my hairs up and down, but I'm not making it really chunky because I already have fairly full brows. Next, I'm just spraying my face with more Photo Focus setting spray. Love that setting spray, really melts in the powders, and I find it's one of the only powders that doesn't make my skin feel like really tight. And then I'm taking Ardell lashes in 162, and I'm just putting mascara on beforehand. This is the Extreme mascara from Essence in the waterproof version. I find this is a really nice mascara, and I think I got like a pack for like $2. Anyways, I'm now taking the House of Lashes glue, the only thing that's not Drugstore, because unfortunately I am like really allergic to the dual lash glue. Like last time I got pustules all over my eyes. It was not pleasant. But I'm just taking those Ardell 162 lashes and applying that to my lashes. Now, if you don't want to strip lash or you've never worn lashes before, you can also use individual lashes. And if you sit there and place them on, it looks beautiful, super natural. I find strip lashes are just quicker for me to apply, so that's what I did. And that's also what I did for my wedding day. But you know, individual lashes look gorgeous as well, and you don't need lashes if you don't want to. Completely and totally optional. But definitely makes a difference and opens up your eyes, which is the nice part. Next, I'm taking that black shade again, and I'm just putting this over the corner of my lashes, so that inner corner to where my fake eyelashes meet, and it's just so it gives a nice thick line, so it doesn't look like there's a gap. And then I'm just taking that mascara on my lower lashes, and then I'm taking this e.l.f. lipstick on a Real Techniques retractable lip brush and applying this all over my lips. I forgot to show it, but I did use an Essence lip liner earlier first. I find that these e.l.f. lipsticks are really nice in terms of that they make your lips look a bit plumper, and I find that they last a long time throughout the day. But if you want something to last longer, then you can always use a liquid lipstick. Now I'm taking that vanilla shade again from the palette, and I'm applying this to my collarbone, and I'll be applying it to my shoulders just so the skin's nice and glowy. And as you probably guys could tell, oh dear, as you guys could probably tell, I went and did my hair. Oh, that's flattering, Catherine. Show your bra strap. Just so your skin's nice and glowy, and so it just melts in with your face as well, so there's not like, oh, glowy face and matte body. Okay, of course you don't have to do this if you have like straps or anything like that. So here's the finished look. I hope you guys like it. It's a really soft, simple look, and hey, we did it all with Drugstore.
Hey everybody, and welcome. Oh my goodness. Okay, one second. My brush. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, we're back on track.